guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a great day, and we are going to talk about the Duggars' net worth. Okay, so we did a video yesterday and we broke down how much Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar are worth, and it estimated to be around $3.5 million, although many of you believed it to be more like 5 to 7 million. Obviously, we're only going off numbers from Celebrity Net Worth, but it's not a paltry number, and we know that the Duggars are doing pretty well. So today we're going to talk about the surprising Duggar who is actually worth more than any of their siblings by a lot. Before we get into it, can you do me a favor and give this video a thumbs up? Also subscribe down here if you have not yet subscribed, and turn those notifications on so you know when I go live. Okay, so yesterday we talked about Jim Bob and Michelle. They have a real estate empire, they have their show, they've written a couple books, and they have speaking engagements. Well, they have many adult children that are out on their own, including Josh, John David, Jill, Jessa, Jinger, Joseph, Josiah, and Joanna. Now, Jana is technically not on her own because she still lives with her parents, but she does have a surprising net worth that we'll get into in a later video. Today, we're going to actually talk about who of the adult children has the most money, and I think who has the most money might surprise you, because where the heck is the money coming from? Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar have a lot of money, and their daughter Jinger is the winner for the highest net worth of all of her siblings. How on earth does Jinger Volo have more money than any of her siblings when her husband is in school for seminary? Not only that, how does she have so much money that she can afford this really expensive home in Los Angeles when it seems as though she and her husband don't do a lot for work? Well, that's a good question. How much is Jinger Volo actually worth? Well, according to Celebrity Net Worth, they estimate her earnings or her net worth to be $2 million. That's a lot more than any of her other siblings, like literally. Not even the next sibling that is in this lineup doesn't even come close to how much she is made of. And a lot of people started wondering, like, they thought it was interesting when they moved to Los Angeles because they had this massive house, and the expensive house had a very expensive price tag. So when Jinger and Jeremy moved into a home in Los Angeles in 2019, they ended up renting a home that cost them $4,000 per month. $4,000 for rent. $4,000 is more than a lot of people make an entire month, and they paid that just in rent. The home, which was a 4-bedroom home in California in the San Fernando Valley, had a lot of people going, how the heck do they afford this house? They had a relatively modest home when they lived in Laredo, Texas, and so a lot of people were like, how is this even possible? The house that they live in Los Angeles is valued at around $700,000, and they're renting for $4,000. Now, in the world of Los Angeles, $4,000 for rent is not super steep, but it is a big steep price if you're a Duggar who lives in the world of thrift, right? So where on earth do they get their money from? Well, according to Celebrity Net Worth, Jeremy's time as a professional athlete was lucrative for him. So the fact that he was a professional athlete that played soccer, he was able to actually save quite a bit of money. Also, according to the Hollywood Gossip, somehow Jinger and Jeremy were able to negotiate a contract with the network for a pretty high price per episode because their storyline drew in more ratings than the other storyline. Hollywood Gossip says she had reportedly worked out a deal with TLC that would pay her more than her siblings because her specific storyline with Jeremy actually brought in higher ratings for the entire series, which is interesting because their social media platform isn't as large as Jessa's, but people seem very enamored with Jinger because, one, she's moved to Los Angeles, and because her life has become so different than the Duggars. She also does quite a bit in terms of sponsorships. So she consistently posts sponsorships on her Instagram. She's done them for Audible. She's had them for various skincare lines and even for makeup. So she has her Instagram that she does paid promotions on. She and Jeremy also launched a podcast, and they have a book coming out this next May that is under the same guide, like the Hope We Hold podcast. They are noted as the breakout stars, and maybe now we understand why, because according to the Hollywood gossip, there is a reported contract where Jinger and Jeremy have their own contract with TLC, which could be a pretty big development considering the fact that Jill Duggar had said that she was never paid for her time while she was on the show. So Jinger somehow, under the radar, has somehow amassed a massive fortune in comparison to her siblings. From her husband playing professional soccer, from her Instagram sponsorships, from her podcast, and now a book coming up, Jinger and Jeremy are really setting up themselves for a life of affluence, and they both seem to really lavish in this lifestyle. We know that Jinger and Jeremy love fashion, they love culture, they love food, and so with that, especially in LA, comes a high price tag. Well, thankfully for Jeremy and Jinger, they can pay for it because they're loaded. I was like kind of shocked when I learned this, you guys. I'm not gonna lie. I had no idea that Jinger and Jeremy were worth this much. And I always thought it was kind of odd that Jeremy wasn't really working. I was like, how can he go to seminary and how can they afford a $4,000 a month home in Los Angeles? How can she go shopping with Jana and buy like a $300 coat? How is it that she has all of this excess money? Well, I guess she's being a smart businesswoman and she's not afraid to spend her money, which is completely different than her siblings. A lot of her siblings remain and continue to be relatively frugal when it comes to money, including Jessa, who consistently goes thrifting, Anna Duggar, who consistently buys her children's clothes at thrift stores or through consignment. Her other siblings like Jill and Joanna, who go on these consignment sprees and thrift shopping. Most of the Duggars don't go out and splurge on jackets or clothing, and Jinger and Jeremy are like, we're gonna do it our way. We like fashion, we like food, and we have money. So when it all comes down to it, perhaps the most independent of the Duggars is the one that we would be surprised to be the least expected. Jinger. Never would have thought it would be Jinger that would be the one that would be truly financially independent. Now, there are some others that are financially independent and we'll get there soon, but I would love to know what your thoughts about who the richest Duggar is for the kids. Are you shocked to learn that it's Jinger and Jeremy? And what do you think and who do you think is next in line for having the most money? You might be surprised. All right, I'll be back later with more. Bye, guys.